What's up, everyone? Hope you're doing well. Jumping on today, want to cover a good amount of info, all kind of tying together for September. There is a lot of news going on when it comes to September events. I knew of some of them just because of things that I was being shown, but some of them I had no idea were out there until I was on a little bit more social media this week. And I was really surprised at the amount of stuff going around, especially around like end time events in September, and really floating around like the church community and the amount of fear that's going around in that. And it was really interesting because today and yesterday, when I was really made aware of a lot of this stuff that was going around and dates and things like that, it made sense to a lot of the dreams that I was being shown earlier in the month, right away in the first week of September. And so there's a lot of stuff going around of like, the end of September, September 24th, 25th, of these like end time rapture, like beware type dates. And first off, who am I to say? But it's, to me, like when we're having a gospel that is, the first thing is fear, right? They're trying to fear you into an action. That's the opposite of the gospel. Because the gospel literally says perfect love casts out all fear. And so if there's a fear motive behind something to try to get you to do an action, it's not the gospel. And so I always, that's a foundational truth for me that I always go back to. But at the beginning of September, I was having several nights of dreams, which was really interesting. One of them, I remember I was sitting in front of a TV and I was flipping through all of these news stations, and every single channel was a news station or was delivering some sort of news, and every single one was about these end times events. And they were trying to push all of these end times events. And I remember watching it and being like, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true. That's not true. But they were pushing a narrative. And I had these dreams several nights in a row, and a lot of them of false end time prophecy style things. And so I found that really interesting, and I was like, Lord, why am I getting this? Why am I seeing this? And now as I'm flipping through social and I'm seeing a lot of these videos being made, it makes sense as to why I was seeing that and that push of that. So just remember, perfect love casts out all fear. And so what have I been seeing? I've been seeing a lot in September, and same with some of the people that I'm around, even my wife having some dreams on these same things. And so, the people that I'm closest with, we're all having the same puzzle pieces put together when it comes to this. And what is that? A lot of it is newness. That is the biggest piece. And this is going to tie into some of the things I'm going to cover throughout this video. It's a lot of cleansing. It's a lot of new. It's new birth. Is what we're seeing. And so we're seeing waters, cleansing waters being moved, new ground. I had posted some videos and some slides in the past, right, of water covering the ground, right, and where water used to be is dry, now where used to be dry is now water. And that, what does that water signify? Really answer that. I did a big story on that on my Instagram yesterday. And so what does that water signify? How is the Holy Spirit moving and cleansing and working throughout the lands, right? And so there's a lot of that. And what does Scripture tell us, right? When Jesus is actually returning, right, he wants to marry a perfect bride, right? He's marrying a spotless bride. And so the cleansing has to happen first. The new has to happen first. This new birthing of things has to happen. That's what we've been seeing a lot of. And so throughout this, though, in September, there is a lot of things happening. And so it's kind of cool because I've been seeing a lot of it and didn't really know for this last year, starting in October last year, with a lot of things. In October last year, I was told to watch the skies. And I was having a lot of dreams to watch the skies, seeing like these ancient gates, like it says in Jeremiah 6:16 about returning to the ancient gates. And that word ancient in the Hebrew actually means eternal. And so it's really interesting on all of that and how that's really fun to see. And I'm seeing different constellations move and the stars being moved in some of my dreams and things like that, and how that's tied in to the reality of a lot of what's happened in the last year. And I watched the sky a lot at the end of last year in October, November, December, and I just kind of stopped doing it in early 2023. And I was reminded again in May in a dream to watch the sky. And so it was really interesting that happened in May because it was a summer full of celestial events. The summer was just filled with them. And some of them were constellations moving, again with the gates, and a lot of dreams over these things, things that were being even hidden, right? Hidden from us, and how just praying over these things for us to be able to see, for our eyes not to be blinded, and see the events happening for us that are meant for God's sons and daughters, right? We even see this weekend, right? We have the comet, that green comet moving throughout the sky. These next couple of days, you're gonna be able to see that. That's really cool. We have the new moon on Friday and Rosh Hashanah on Saturday. If you don't know what that is, that's a Jewish holiday that has some really neat significance to it that normally maybe we wouldn't look at, but the significance of all of that with all these other things tying in it's just fun. And it's very interesting because a lot of it all relates into this new birthing thing all again. So nothing to be afraid of, actually quite excitement. It's something to really be excited for, to be hopeful for. And it was really cool. Actually, I had a dream back in April, right before I was reminded to look to the skies in May again. But in April, I had this dream, and I was shown this blue thing throughout the sky, a purple item throughout the sky, and this green thing throughout the sky. So now I'm going back and I'm looking, especially the green is what kicked it off when this comet that's coming through right now, green, I was like, whoa, I've already been shown this. So I went back and I looked and I'm like, okay, this is all making sense. And I wasn't getting it of what I was being shown. And so, a lot of these things, if we're awake and we're noticing these things, we can see how the Lord is speaking to us. We can see how he's showing us all of these things. Because it says in Amos 3:7 that surely the Lord does nothing without revealing his plans to his prophets. And so we see that the Lord speaks to all of us today. That's how it works today. After Jesus came, like that, he speaks to all of us if we have eyes to see and ears to hear. And so even when we miss it, like I maybe missed a couple things in there throughout the summer because I wasn't correlating and catching this dream that I was given, I can go back and look and surely see like, wow, the Lord is speaking to me. And like I'm catching it on this third thing with the green comet, that emerald that's going through the sky now, and I get to see what I see. But I got to go look then in that entire dream that I recorded back on April 8th and really see what else was in the sky, what I got to see that day. And one of the things, there was this giant cloud in the sky, and every time lightning would bolt in this cloud, I would see a castle. And I've seen this castle many a time in dreams. My daughter has seen the same thing, has been in the castle many times in her dreams as well. So it's really neat, the tie-in of all what we're being shown within that and what that means. And it really always takes me to the apostles' prayer of thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven, right? And so we're seeing this newness, and we're seeing how things that happen in the spiritual manifest and move into the physical, then move into the earth, right? And we're seeing kingdom happen and change and move onto the earth. So these are all amazing things that happen spiritually or celestially that we get to see if we have eyes to see and ears to hear these things. And so a fun weekend ahead, newness, especially with the Rosh Hashanah holiday on Saturday, kicking up on Saturday, that new year, however you want to look at that, depending on your views, your insights, or what you're being shown. But just some very exciting things. To me, nothing to be fearful of. That's just the way that I guess I'm seeing it. And so I wanted to encourage you with some of these things. If maybe you've been scrolling a lot and getting caught up in what's being so blasted in the news, especially maybe in that, quote unquote Christian realm of news and what to watch for and things like that. But I think it's more so of things being cleansed, things being washed, new things coming. New doesn't mean end. I think I'll just leave it right there. New doesn't mean end. And so you guys, I hope you have an awesome rest of your day. Enjoy this amazing weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.